I think the key thing about RDR that advisors have to realize is that this is not a regulatory change their compliance officer can implement for them. They're going to have to engage with this themselves. It's a fundamental shift of how they ran their businesses before and how they engage with their customers before. So key to that is the remuneration structures and how that will work. Because the most important thing in RDR is that the regulator wants to see different charges and customers understanding that they pay this much for product, this much for admin, and this much for advice and for financial planning as a matter. So from an advisor perspective, one of the most important things is to sit back and carefully think about your customer value proposition and understand what is it that I offer to customers and how comfortable am I charging at the level that I want to charge customers for that service, and then be clear about that. There are two C's, two important C's. There's conflicts and confusion. So from the regulator's perspective, they don't want consumers to misunderstand who does what, and they also don't want advisors to find themselves in a situation where they're thinking, what is the best for me versus what is the best for my customer? It should be aligned, it should be the same thing. That's where the regulator's going with it. The FSB's on record some years ago saying to me they don't want to be first to do something. And when I challenged them and said, what does that mean? They said, well, let others try it out and then we'll give it a bash and we'll see what works and what doesn't work. So they've gone around the world, they've allowed the UK, Australia, Malaysia, other countries like that to do things similar to RDR. In the UK, they also call their reform RDR. That is one of the key similarities to the South African one, only the name. There's a lot of differences in the South African one. You would have heard the FSB speak around how much time they're spending on the low-income market, understanding that we need commission carve-outs and things like that. So I'm comfortable that we've taken the best principles from around the world, we've seen what works and what doesn't work, and we've been very, very sure not to bring around detailed regulation that hasn't worked elsewhere or that isn't South African enough.